I don't know how Solo Leveling does it, but for its second season in a row, the show has taken the entire anime community by storm. This time, even more so than the first, with the show constantly crashing the Crunchyroll servers and setting new streaming records, and then breaking those records with the very next episode. It's reached a level of popularity that very few anime ever do because of the show's incredibly broad mass appeal. And I get it, I'm part of that mass. But that begs the question, what about this show interests so many people? Let's break it down. To begin, the plot isn't exactly difficult to grasp. There are a bunch of gates that randomly appear which open into dungeons with monsters and bosses. But there's a small group of the population called hunters who gain abilities that allow them to fight against the monsters and raid the dungeons before they break open. Sung Jin-woo, this show's black-haired main protagonist, is considered the weakest hunter of all time, until he goes on a particular dungeon raid where he and nearly the entire party gets swept instantly. Sweats. However, because he's the main character, Sung miraculously awakens with the new ability to rank up that's entirely unique to him. From there, the show's set up to do what it does best, absolutely glazing the main character. Actually, you know what? In season 1, things were pretty chill. At the time, the show essentially consisted of Sung completing quests or going into dungeons while severely underleveled, getting into a well-animated fight with the boss, and struggling over and over again just to make it out alive by the skin of his teeth. And boy, did it work every time. Without fail, I would end up on the edge of my seat, not because I actually thought he could lose, but because of how well the direction, music, and voice acting always came together to sell you on Sung's struggle to win and the pure hype that entails. Which, to be fair, I think is helped by the fact that they literally got the real-life Sung Jin-woo to voice himself in the English dub.
I haven't lost yet!
Jeez, somebody please get this man some Dasani. The season finally came to an end after the climactic fight with Igris, where after he beats him, something strange happens. He passed a threshold that now allows him to unlock the bosses as playable characters like Skylander's Trap Team.
Get up, buddy!
This moment marked the tipping point for me at which Sung went from being the underdog in all of his fights to being the dog in the fights, which gives the second season of the show a bit of a different flavor. Pure, unbridled hype. Yeah, this season slaps. Maybe not as much as the Mal score would tell you, but on the scale of pure hype, it's at least that high. That said, it has a pretty similar structure to the first season, having Sung beat up a new boss every couple episodes. But because of him being completely overpowered now, and because he started mewing, it's less about if Sung can beat the boss, and more about when he will. Which might sound like it would remove all the tension from the fights, and it sorta does, but having the main character go on some sort of side quest while everyone's dying just to show up at the last possible second is a tale as old as anime itself, but clearly there's a reason for that. I watched this show with my younger brother, and whenever we got to a new arc, we'd start complaining like, oh, this show's so boring and repetitive. Sung's just gonna show up and win instantly. And then exactly that happens, and all of a sudden we're going crazy because Sung just showed up, and now we just have to wait a week to see him win instantly. Actually, can we take a minute to talk about how diabolical these cliffhangers are? I swear they must have been trolling us, because it seemed like every week the new episode was 5 minutes long, and just as things were about to get good, oh, you've gotta be kidding me. What's worse is that I can't even be mad about it because every time we get a cliffhanger, it's paid off in spades, as the action animation in this show is absolutely breathtaking during every major fight, and in my opinion is super important to really selling the show. Like, okay, imagine Sung Jin-woo versus the Demon King, but it's just a bunch of still frames with a bit of camera shake. See? Nobody's watching this garbage. There we go. Much better. Now that's not to say the action is all the show has to offer. It's most of it. But the Hunters Guilds and the government politics offer a certain level of complexity and give some depth without getting overly complicated or too boring for the viewer. The show literally ranks its characters on a tier list. The writers clearly know what their audience can understand. That said, it's actually pretty interesting, and seeing all the side characters try to recruit Sung to their guild just to get absolutely cooked by him is just good writing. But there was one moment in particular that actually surprised me. After defeating the Demon King, Sung finally has all of the materials to craft the elixir of life, the cure for his mother's illness. This was the moment Sung's entire story had been leading up to until now. So he goes to his mother's hospital room, and the same hand that's been used over and over again to defeat bosses with surgical accuracy trembles as he lifts the medicine to give it to his mother. And it works. Sung starts sobbing as he watches his mother sit up all on her own after being in a coma for 4 long years. I think what makes this scene so effective is that Sung is expressing his feelings for the first time since like episode 2. So seeing him break down as he finally achieves what he'd been fighting for so long makes this a truly beautiful scene, right? Right? Yeah, after this episode dropped, a bunch of people were calling him soft and saying that he lost all his aura and a load of other things, which I'm sorry. What? He just brought his mother back to life. What do you want him to do? This has gotta be some of the saddest hating I've ever seen for an anime, especially for what I found to be one of the best scenes in the entire show. Above all of the incredibly animated fights, this was the moment that got me the most hyped. I think people forgot about that pretty quickly though, because right afterward, we got the Jeju Island arc. The arc both manhwa fans and the show itself had been hyping up since the show started. I know a lot of people were comparing it to the Chimera Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter because they both got ants, and no, I wouldn't say that, but it's still pretty sick. Let's set the stage. S-rank hunters are gathered from across the world to wipe out the monsters that escaped during a deadly dungeon break on Jeju Island a while back. Except for Sung, cause he wants to stay back and take care of his mom while she's getting better. Cut to her doing perfectly fine. Which leaves this mission up to the side characters. Oh, we should probably talk about the side characters. Alright, that should be good. Now for the fight. Oh, shoot. Well, good thing I didn't spend too long on that. The Ant King shows up and squad wipes all the S-rank hunters in an instant. Well, too bad Sung's not here while everyone's literally dying.
Exchange.
Oh dang, he can do that now? And why did he climb to the top of a random building while people were all fighting for their lives? How much aura do you need? Sung wastes no time taking on the Ant King once he arrives, and it's an absolute beatdown. And I don't think I realized just how much stronger he was than everyone else until this happened. Forget the edge of my seat. I felt like I was levitating watching this fight. The fight itself looks awesome, but I think the shot of this dude's eyes darting around and switching directions before they can even catch up is what really sold me. It's to the point where Sung's existence pretty much makes everyone else completely irrelevant, which will probably become a little bit annoying, but I just can't help but feel like he deserves it for being Mr. Irrelevant for so long. Unlike most other power fantasies, it's easy for me to feel shocked that solo leveling is as successful as it is, but let's not forget that Sword Art Online did the same shtick back in 2012? Goodness. And that was the best anime ever. I know the season's over now, and I'm like a week late to making this video, but I think I'm alright with that. The season's already had more than enough hype moments for me. And to be honest, I think I just need a break from hearing the phrase aura farming. But I'm not gonna take a break from subscriber farming. So drop a like and subscribe if you feel like it. See you later.